Hey everyone, if you're wondering what the heck do I do to publish my Groove page, do I manage domains? What does that mean? And then when you get the drop down here and you can do custom domains or subdomains or other domains, what on earth is going on? This is the video that will help clarify things and make sure that you can publish your Groove page to the internet really fast. Let's go. Okay, so you've built your web page, that's great, but where are you going to publish it to? This is where you go up to that top button up there, and you can see there's a little drop down on the publish button, and it gives you this menu over here to the right, okay? And then you're left with this confusion as to, let me just slide myself up here. So what we've got in here is you've got various things going on, and it gives you the option to do this thing called a custom domain or a Groove Pages subdomain. Let's explain the two. A custom domain is the one that you buy, which is your preferred one. So for us, it's groove.builders. Or you can do a Groove Pages subdomain, which means it uses the main groovepages.com. But just ahead of that, you pick what it's going to be in terms of your business that you've done here on Groove, and then you have a / and then you can name it. Does that sound a bit confusing? Well, it's always best with a bit of an example, isn't it? So let's say we were going to change this to Groove Pages subdomain. Can you see right here, this best business? That's what I called my Groove account. And can you see it's gone bestbusiness.groovepages.com. And then if you put a folder in here and typed in something like Groove Builders, okay, can you see now how the URL has changed here? Let me just try and zoom in on this. Okay, and I'll move myself out of the way. Hold on a sec. Okay, so in here, what you're now doing is you're going to use a Groove Pages. So that's this bit, this groovepages.com. Okay, and then it's going to be / whatever you want your domain to be. Now, some people say, well, that's a really rubbish long domain. I get it, but it's super fast and you don't have to buy a domain name. It's there. And don't forget, when you are sharing a link to somewhere, how many people these days type it in? Normally they click a button. Normally they click a link, don't they? So don't worry about it too much. At this point, we're just trying to get going. But you're saying, hold on, Nigel, I've got a domain name. I know what I want it to be. How do I connect that? Well, this is where it gets a bit interesting. And it's really good, actually. It's a really clever thing that they do. So let me just come over here and just remind you. So you've got this button over here. And when you're on this button, you can do a publish. You can then go to where it is. Or you can copy the link, yeah? And you can do two things. You can publish the whole website, or over there, you can publish the page that you're on. So if you're only making changes to one page that you want to go live, you can use that. But it comes back to this thing. No, I want to go up here and I want to do this on the drop down. I want to do custom domain. Now, if it comes up, select domain right here, and you haven't set up any domains yet, then you won't be able to select anything. Make sense? Yeah, of course. So how do you do it? You go up to that top one and do manage domains. This is what we've got to do to enable Groove to see the domain names that you've got wherever they're hosted and connect it all up so that this page can get connected to your domain. Let's have a look at that right now. All right, so on here, we've got two big boxes. We've got this choose name, and then over there, let me just slide it, you've got your custom domains and how you do it. It's in this, can you see there? This little bit of domains. Other things you can do in here, you've got personal info, contact info, social media, business info, change password, and domains. So it's in this kind of, you know the about you or your account type thing. It's in this section. Okay, here, where you're using a subdomain and you're thinking, so me, it was best business. Nigel T Best, makes sense. But what you can do is you can change that if you want. And so you could change it to something far more relevant to what you want. So it would be, say, nigelbest.groovepages.com. You might want to do that. It's up to you. However, what we're really wanting to do is this bit over here, custom domains. This is where it is. Can you see there? yourdomain.com. Let's click on it. We've highlighted it. We're now going to click this button right next to me. Okay, that one there. And we're going to manage any custom domains that we have in there. If you've got none, then this is the first thing that you have to do. Okay. All right. I've just blurred out my domain names. Just want to protect clients and various other things in there. But this is where you add them. So if you've not done any yet, you'll have none. So what happens then? Well, let's just slide over here. You click that button up there in the top to add a domain. What we've got now is a 5-step process to get your domain name in there. And you can see it's already asking you something that will probably leave you confused. What kind of domain do you want to add? Now, for some people, obviously it's defaulting to that one up there, which is the full domain subdomain setup, and it's recommended. And this is recommended for brand new or unused domains. Any legacy content on the domain will not be carried over. Okay. Legacy domain setup. This is for legacy domain with important content on it that can't be overwritten. This will protect current domains and subdomains, etc., etc. This could be something that if you've got a domain name that's been used for a while, you might want to think about the legacy domain setup. If you've used someone before, you might want to, find out a little bit more about it. But let's work on the basis that we are just going to do this full domain subdomain setup, the recommended one. Now, the important thing to note here, and I'm just going to bring this in to your attention right here. It says select the type of domain you would like to add. With our recommended method, we'll handle everything for you, including free SSL. SSL is the site security. And when you get HTTP or HTTPS, well, just as a reminder, Google will not recommend sending anyone to one that is HTTP. What they say is that's vulnerable to attack, and they will put up a warning saying, whoa, don't go here, because it's the sort of thing where they nick your credit card details. So SSL is this little encryption, this little security thing that they tag on, and it turns your URL into HTTPS. I'm only mentioning it because a lot of people sort of ask the question, oh, how do I get SSL? Where's this security thing? What goes on? Well, if you use this, what they're saying is Groove adds this in automatically and you don't need to worry about it. That's a big tick. All right. If you're happy with it, happy with where you are, what you're doing, then we're going to go over here and just click the next button. Let's go to stage 2. So this is where, having gone to somewhere like Namecheap or buy a domain or something like that, you've purchased a domain, and this is where you would type it in. So I've got one called groove.services. I've just typed it in there, put it in there, and I'm going to click next. And then this is where it starts getting into something, and you're probably thinking, what the hell's going on here? So connect your domain, a few simple steps. What you want to do is you want to go back to wherever you bought your domain name from. You want to log in there, and you want to change where the name servers are pointing. And you're wanting to copy this one and this one into your name servers. So DNS is domain name server. And you're probably thinking, what the hell is going on? Well, let me show you. I'm going to jump into Namecheap, which is where we've got this particular domain name. Okay, I'm in my Namecheap dashboard, and you can see here I've done a domain list, and I've clicked on Manage the Domain Name. And all you've got here is a bit of information about your domain for as you can see up there, groove.services. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down to this bit here and try and zoom in. And you've got this section here, there, which is called Name Servers. Now that sounds familiar from what Groove has just given us. Yeah. What you've got here is a drop down. it gives you a few options. And the one that I want to do, you can see it's using Namecheap Basic DNS, Namecheap Web Hosting DNS. Okay, we're not going to web host on Namecheap because we're actually going to use Groove. So what we need is the custom DNS. Let's click on it. What does it give us? It gives us 2 bits here. It says, all right, if you're going to do it yourself, Clever Clogs, give us the domain name servers that you want it to point at. And what's it doing? This is the thing behind the scenes where, if you can imagine your own home address, if your house is where you want people to come to, you've got to give people your address, haven't you? And you've got to be able to point people in the right direction. This is what this is doing. We're giving name servers, and it's pointing to a server where your information's held so that people can access the information. That's kind of, in my simple brain, that's how I think of it. So let's go back and pick up what Groove gave us as those name servers. Here we are. We had this one. We got apollo.ns.cloudflare.com, and then we've got una.ns. So what I want to do, I'm going to click on that button right here by my ear. It should copy it. Sometimes it doesn't if I've zoomed in, but let's go back and see if we can paste it. So in the name server, all I'm going to do is just do a paste. Right, perfect. So that first one there, I've put Apollo in. I'm now going to go back and do Una. So again, same thing right here. Click on the copy. So if you can copy and paste, you can do this. Okay, I'm going to go back to Namecheap, and I'm going to add that into there as the server, the second server. Then right here on this particular dashboard, there'll be something that says save, click OK, do OK, etc., etc. And that's what you'll get. So we've now saved our custom DNS in there. All right, so we're now saying that we're sorted on this side of things at the moment. Let's go back to Groove and find out the next in those 5 steps. So having done that, I'm clicking on next. And what it's now saying is, right, okay, click the validate button below to verify your domain configuration, or click on, I'll do this later if you want to verify your domain later. What's it doing? What it's doing is it's saying that Groove is going to look for that Apollo and una.cloudflare type domain server. It's going to look for them. So it's going to go, can I find them? Can I find that domain name where I think it should be? And it takes a while. It's not instant, but I'm going to give it a try. We haven't waited more than 30 seconds, but let's try it. All right. That is pretty cool, because what it's saying is your domain has been connected successfully. Now you can manage the records for your connected domain, or go back to your domains page. And you're probably thinking, I'm not too sure about that. Well, let's just, at this point, just click on complete process. Okay, what's it done at this point? Well, this, if it's your first one, this will be the only one you'll see here. I've got quite a few, but this is the only one you'll see. What it's saying there is, yes, okay, you've added it. So let me just move myself up a little bit. It says, yes, you've added it, but we're pending verification. We need to see if those domain name servers are working correctly. And then behind my head, it gives you a button to click on it to verify the domain. So I'm going to try it. I don't think it'll work at the moment, but what it means is it's kind of there now with Groove. We've started that process. We're just about there. So let's click verify to see what happens. Okay, the fact that this has come up means that it hasn't had time to, what they say, propagate through the internet. So what it's saying is just go back and make sure that you put those domain name servers on that domain, will you? But it may be that it just takes a bit more time. So at the moment, I'm just going to leave it at that, okay? And I'm going to go back to the page where we want to publish, you know, your web page that you've created. And let's see if groove.services has now become available as a custom domain. So up there, I'm going to click on the publish. Yeah, and then we get the thing appearing out here as well. So what I want to do is just have a look in here. I've got custom domain. So right here, you can see I'm doing on the drop down custom domain. I'm clicking on custom domain, and then obviously it's got the one in already for me. But so we've got Groove Builders in there at the moment. But what you're looking at is when you click on that drop down. So if you were on a Groove Pages subdomain, you're now going custom domain because you've linked one. You'd click on it, and from that drop down here, over here, if you click on that domain, what you would find is any domains you have added and verified, they would appear here as a drop down. Because just the way I'm recording this, I haven't verified my website, my domain name, it's not going to appear on the drop down. But that is how you do it. So you would select it, you would say the location is the root, and can you see, let me just come over here. Can you see then what it's saying is, look, this is going to be your web address. And you can see it's HTTPS because it added that SSL certificate in through their Cloudflare account, and they did it all and everything all for you. And then it's groove.builders. And all you would do then is you would go to the pink button here, and you would just hover over the publish. And as soon as you do that, it publishes it to the internet. If you want to check it and you don't want to type it in, just click that and it'll open in another tab your domain with that, you know, the one that you've just created and done it. And that, folks, should be that. Okay, I hope that's helped, and I'll see you again in another of the Groove.Builders really helpful videos. But until then, my name's Nigel T. Best. Take care, see you later. Oh, and if you've got any questions about it, put them in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe, because that way sharing is caring. Bye for now.